Hello everyone and welcome back to another Transperth news video. So a few days ago here on my site Transport, the bus routes, the original proposed bus routes for the Yanchep Rail Extension, as well as new Bayswater bus routes were released at the same time. And this is really interesting. We've all been waiting for this for a long time. So I'm just going to share my thoughts about them like I did with the Lakelands buses, and just show you the maps they've released and talk about them. So let's just get straight into it so I don't make it too long. We're going to start with the Yanchep extension routes. Now, I'm actually really surprised at the amount of change we see with all these routes here. I thought they're just going to make a few adjustments to 490 and 491 and probably make them like travel between the train stations and then make separate routes. But they've actually got quite a lot of new things. So first of all, there's this new route not even near Butler or Yanchep or anything like that, which is route 479 from Clarkson Station to the new areas which are further south down Connolly Drive, which have just been built and it's already coming here, as well as deviating to Ocean Quay Shopping Centre in the off-peak. This is pretty, this is pretty stupid. It's another dumb deviation. It's going to operate all the way up to Ocean Quay Shopping Centre and all these routes already go there. But I guess it's just so people living in this area here where the new houses are can get up to the shopping centre with one bus, but it's still going to be a pretty underutilized deviation, I think. And then it's going to continue over the road and terminating at Mandiri Marina, where there's currently 481 deviations in the summer, which will probably be withdrawn then since it's going to be always terminating there. Speaking of 481, it's actually been renumbered to 480, but then 480 is obviously the route that operates from Clarkson to Butler along Marmion Avenue, so now that's been renumbered to 482, and then 482 is the one which also operated from Clarkson to Butler and Marmion Avenue, but also turned on these streets, which is now 481. So they literally changed 480, 481 and 482, all changed around and reused the route numbers on the existing routes without actually changing the routes, which is so confusing. Bus drivers are going to be so confused on the first few days of operation of this. I think this is actually really ridiculous. But at least it is properly numbered from the ocean in now. So we have 479 right next to the ocean, then 480, 481, 482, and then the normal 483 and 484. Which have been shortened to terminate at Butler Station, and then the final section from Butler to Alkimos is two new super short routes to the same terminus, although the 483 path has been changed a bit, but the 484 one is exactly the same. Look how short this is, 488. This is useless. I don't understand this change. 483 and 484 are totally fine as they are right now, and people actually go from Alkimos further down south of Butler. They don't just get off at Butler. So this is just going to be annoying unless they fully continue on as those two routes, but then what's the point of renumbering it anyway? It's just making new stupid short routes and reducing connection. I really don't like this. It does say they will be extended to Alkimos Station at a later date, which is obvious, like definitely. This terminus so close to Butler shouldn't exist. But there's not enough roads around there for that to be feasible yet. So for the moment, they should just keep 483 and 484 as there is, and then they can change it. But yeah, if we take a look at the frequency here, weekday, peak 10 minutes, interpeak 30 minutes, and then weekend 60. And it's the same for 483, 484. So really, it's probably just going to be continuing as those routes, although it might be a bit random, like sometimes 483 does 488, and then sometimes 484 does 487. So it's a bit more different into which direction you can go, not always the same one, but still, I can't believe with every new bus change they make new short routes. Anyway, other than that, the other new routes for Butler Station, continuing in the 48X series as well, are 485, which is over here, goes off the map, and 486, so we're going to have to move on to the next map to take a look now. Over here, so you can see the full short 487, 488 there. Now 485 is operating only Butler to Alkimos, but it turns into the streets of Jindalee here and Alkimos here, although it says it may not operate until because this road connection here doesn't exist yet, So it says it may not operate if the road connection is not made by the time the extension opens, but hopefully it will be done so that the route can operate and actually go west of Marion Avenue, because right now all these houses all the way up to Yanchep have to walk out to Marion Avenue. There's no bus that goes in. And then the other one is 486, which is just straight along Marion Avenue where the 490 is right now, which that's really short. That's like a 5-minute route, but okay, like I was expecting that to happen. And then same thing, so that's 2 routes there, one in the streets, one on the main roads, and same thing between Alchemist and Butler. We have 492 on the main road, replacement of 490 on the main road, and then 491, reusing the number, onto the streets right into Eglinton along Shorehaven Boulevard, which is very good, much closer to the beach now. And a whole paragraph here about its temporary alignment, because none of the roads are not complete yet. And there will be another route between Alchemist and Eglinton via the other streets in this empty area, which isn't even housed yet, but it says it is planned for when this area is built up, which will definitely be 493, since 494 is up here, but there's no 493, so that's what 493 will be. And actually, this road here is also a temporary alignment for entering Alchemist Station. It's going to be different once more roads are built there as well. So that's it. Alchemist is only going to have 4 routes, which is, well, at least at the start of operations. Later it'll get 493 plus 487 and 488 as well. But for the start of operations, 4 routes, but 10 or 12 or something stands, I think it is, like really a ridiculous amount. It's going to be such an empty bus interchange, especially on weekends. It's going to be so weird. Especially with all these routes being 60-minute frequency on Saturdays and Sundays, except 492, which is 30 minutes on Saturdays. Everything else is just 60. Anyway, now we move up to Eglinton, which will have 5 routes, not much more, which are then just the 491 and 492, and to go further north, 494, 495 and 496, which are over here. Now, these all go up along Marion Avenue, since there's not really much more to serve unless they would turn into these streets, but that's pretty small. And then 496 will turn right at Yanchep Beach Road to go where the current 491 terminates, and then go up St. Andrew's Drive where the 491 deviation right now is, and then terminate at Yanchep Station. And it says there's another additional route planned for the Yanchep Golf Estate further to the east, which will then be 497, since you can see that number is missing. And then this stupid U-turn here won't exist once that new route is in. This is just for the moment to get closer to this housing area here. And hopefully, once 497 is in, they might make, hopefully, some deviations to Yanchep National Park, so you can get some public transport there, although it'll probably be pretty underused. But like maybe in the middle of the day, once an hour, just so it's not that much further, it's like 2 kilometers, just so you can get there by public transport, at least to the main gate. Yeah. Although, I guess they want people to pay for the park entrance, which you have to, so, and no one's really gonna walk there, so then they can catch them and like make them pay in their cars, but I don't know. Anyway, then the 494 will follow the current 491 alignment as it enters Yanchep and go down to this U-turn, just like the 491 does right now, just to serve these houses. Continue along the beach, but then instead of going along Yanchep Beach Road to where the 496 will be, it'll go up Two Rocks Road a little bit and then go into Yanchep to terminate. And 495 is literally just straight along the main road again, no more housing areas. So it's just Eglinton and straight up Marion Avenue to Yanchep. So the only unique section is between this roundabout where the 496 goes off and then where the 494 and 498 join on, which is really not much. That's such a small unique section. I think that's pretty useless. It's pretty dumb to have this route. Like, it's not really gonna make much of a difference whether it exists or not. It's still gonna have patronage, of course, with people getting on along Marion Avenue and such, but it could just be replaced with 494 and 496 trips, but whatever. At least it actually, there is actually a major use of it, which is the connection from Yanchep Station to Yanchep Shopping Centre, because you definitely can't walk since Yanchep Station is way further up. using 494 and 496 will be pretty slow. So 495 will be the best option for that, to go straight to the shop. So that's what it's good for. Yeah. And then 498 is the fourth replacement for 490 up to the terminus in Turox from Yanchep. Another temporary alignment since the roads are not built yet. It's actually going to do some weird turning in here to serve a few more houses. And then it's not going to terminate at the shopping center where it currently does. Instead, it's going to pass through there. That's the most western stop of the network, by the way, and continue along the current extension to Atlantis Beach College normally, and always terminate there. There are a few houses out there, so good that it better serves them, but still, it's quite weird that it's now going to be terminating at the college always, and no longer here at this shopping center stop anymore. And that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments about all these routes. I think there's actually quite a few more than I was expecting. I didn't really think they're actually going to make like routes all along the main road still to replace the 490. I thought they're just going to go into the streets now, but okay, whatever, that's fine. It's just following the typical model along the Yanchep line to transfer between like buses between each bus station, which all the train stations here are now built as bus stations. So, and you can look at the frequencies as well. Again, here all 60 minutes on Sundays and Saturdays, except 492, which I said before, Saturday 30 minutes, and then peak periods 491 is and 492 are the best ones, every 10 minutes, while the others are every 20. And then interpeak, they're all every 30, except 496, which is hourly. Okay. Yeah. Here, I'm not going to talk too much about the frequencies, but you can see it all here. The normal pattern is every 10 to 20 minutes in peak, every 30 minutes in interpeak, and every 60 minutes on weekends, but there are some exceptions to that. Anyway, that's the bus network. It's very good. It's definitely a lot of new bus services to the northern suburbs, which are currently quite underserved. But obviously, it's so far away from the city. It's going to be crazy with this many buses running up in all those new areas. It's going to be so well connected. And now, just quickly before I end the video, after informing you of all this, Bayswater changes as well. Yes, so just last week they put the 998 and 48 stand at Bayswater from like where it was before on King William Street down to actually under the Bayswater Bridge, so it's directly connected to the station. And soon they're going to have all the buses around the interchange, all the bus stands ready when the Ellenbrook line platforms open. So then with that they've proposed changes to the current Guildford Road routes, which are the 41, 42, 48 and 55, which you can see here. So they will all still be, they'll be starting from Elizabeth Quay except the 55, but 41, 42 and 48 will still start at Elizabeth Quay and follow the alignment along Lord Street and Guildford Road. But then over here there are, the first change you can see is the 42 is now planned to go straight down 8th Avenue, the same place where the 41 goes, so it can get closer to the mainland's town centre and train station. And that means they're going to be removing the current deviations to the shopping centre, since it'll always go there, and a few of the streets in here won't be served anymore. But that's better to get to the mainland's town centre. And then it's also going to extend its terminus from Tranby Road over to the Clarkson Road boat ramp to better serve the water park and police complex, which is down here, as well as a frequency increase since it's so busy, 7 to 8 minutes in peak and then 30 minutes at all other times including weekends, which is also to replace the fact that one route will be lost along Guildford Road, which is the 55, which I'll talk about in a second. And then 41, it's staying the same as it is, except that it will be extended from the current terminus in the Bayswater streets to Bayswater Station, which makes sense so that you can easily get to the suburbs surrounding Bayswater then by bus. And then 48 is also just passing through Bayswater Station as it normally does, with a minor route change here to go along Beachborough Road South and Hudson Street instead of where the circle route goes, and then like through some streets here and onto Langley Road. but other than that, that's not changing. But then 55 will no longer travel to the city and instead just be a local Midland Line route, which those are quite rare. There's actually none, is there? There's no like Bayswater to Bassendean routes at the moment, and there's no Bassendean to Midland routes. So it's just going to operate from Bayswater to Bassendean town centre stop, because obviously you can't cross the tracks to get to the bus interchange, which is quite small anyway. So along the current alignment of the 55, and then except this section, it's going to be going under the Tonkin Highway and over the airport line tunnel to serve the houses to the west of that, west of Tonkin Highway, instead of this industrial area here, which is underpopulated anyway, underutilized. And then come on to King William Street and terminate at Bayswater. So that's that. Here's the frequency chart. And also they would actually renumber the 48 to the 43 and the 55 to the 44, which was the old replacement for Bayswater while it was closed, which also makes sense so that they're all chronological and I mean like in order instead of just random like it is right now, because that's just how the old routes which used to exist. There was a lot more. There was 43 and 44 in the past. But then they were withdrawn, so now we're just left with the weird numbering we have today. And then they'll change it, and then there'll be just 51 being the only route numbered in the 50s after that. And you may have spotted there's a little error here. All these Midland and Airport Line stations have Fremantle Line blue as well. Someone made a little printing error. It's probably meant to be red to show the Ellenbrook line, but yeah, just a mistake. So yeah. That's these changes. These are, I think they're pretty good. There's some people who are disagreeing and saying it's annoying that commuters will have to take the train now if they want to get to the areas the 55 serves, for example. But it's definitely good that these suburbs have better connection to the train station now, and that the it'll be actually a faster journey, although you might have to walk a little bit to get to Perth train station in the city, instead of being directly on William Street, but then it's a fast journey in the train and then using these as suburban connector buses instead of traveling all the way out in the traffic along Guildford Road. So yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think of all the changes in the comments. Obviously these are not final yet. They always just release these and then have community consultation, which is starting on Monday for both of them, I'm pretty sure. These are just the maps. They've already been up on the website for a week, even though the consultation hasn't even started yet. But most of the time we do see that there's barely any change from after this, because professionals have planned this and they're not really going to be taking much input from what some random people of the public have to say. The only thing I've noticed that's ever changed from these consultation maps was the 278 with the airport line. The alignment changed to go into the more rural area, just to go past the aged care center where the 304 used to terminate, instead of through Jacaranda Springs like it was originally planned. I don't think there was any other changes from the consultation maps in terms of the route, the streets the route served in the past. So this is pretty much what we should expect, and hopefully both the Yanchep extension and the new platforms at Bayswater with the new buses there will be ready by April, and then the Ellenbrook line opening in December this year. Very major, with 2 big train projects opening in 2024. So can't wait. See you then. Bye.